Welcome to the battle tutorial. Here you will learn the basics of commanding your armies on the battlefield. You are controlling the British army. Camped in and around this farm are your Spanish enemies. Your task is to rout the Spanish army from the battlefield. Yes. Now, move your cursor over an enemy unit and right-click your mouse to order your cannons to attack. Whilst you're shelling the enemy, practice raising and lowering the camera by rolling the middle mouse button. Alternatively, you can use the Z or X keys. Keep up the pressure by firing your cannons at the enemy militia. As they take damage, their morale will be reduced, and eventually cause them to rout. You have successfully routed an enemy unit. If you rout all enemy units from the battlefield, you will be victorious. You can use the W and S keys to move the camera backwards and forwards, and the A and D keys to strafe left and right. You can rotate the camera by clicking and holding the middle mouse button. Alternatively, you can use the Q and E keys. Try this now. Select a line infantry unit by left-clicking on the unit, or left-clicking the unit card on the review panel at the bottom of the screen. You can double-click here to automatically pan the camera behind the unit, while enemy troops with broken morale can return to the fray once their resolve recovers. The will of these Spanish troops has been shattered. Leave them to flee for their lives. Well done. You have successfully routed the first wave of enemy units. Now, left-click on the Fire at Will button. This unit will now automatically fire at enemy units within range of their muskets. Left-clicking this button again will cancel the order. Now, right-click on the location to increase the speed of your unit's movement. Click the Run button on the review panel, or double right-click when issuing a movement command.
Yes, sir. Sir, following orders. Infantry reporting. Yes, sir.
Use the commands you've just learned to rout the rest of the Spanish army.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right away. Sir. Yes, sir.
Artillery reporting.
Retreat!
Welcome to the battle tutorial. Here you will learn the basics of commanding your armies on the battlefield. You are controlling the British army. Camped in and around this farm are your Spanish enemies. Your task is to welcome to the battle tutorial. Here you will learn the basics of commanding your armies on the battlefield. Let's start by selecting your cannons. Left-click on the cannon.
Right away, sir.
Welcome to the Naval Battle Basic Controls tutorial. My name is Admiral Green, and I am your Naval Battle Advisor. We have had reports of French ships raiding in the Caribbean, and your ship has been dispatched to deal with them. In this tutorial, you will learn about the HUD, camera controls, ship movement, and combat. The HUD, or heads-up display, has now been revealed. You will be taught about the HUD and buttons over the course of this tutorial. Your ship is nearby and ready for you to learn how to control it. The circular flag above your ship is its icon. The green bars at the bottom represent the strength of your hull on each side of the ship, and the white bar at the top represents the amount of damage your sails and masts have taken. As your ship takes hits throughout a battle, these bars will go down and change color to represent the fact your ship is taking damage. The flashing part of the HUD is the review panel. This is where the ship cards for the ships in your navy will be displayed. The new flashing icon is the ship card for your ship. Left-click the ship card now to select it. Good. Now you must learn how to control the camera. First, try moving the camera forward and back by using the W key to move forward and S key to move back. Now try moving the camera left and right by using the A key to move left and the D key to move right. Try rotating the camera left and right by using the Q key to rotate the camera left and the E key to rotate it right. You can use the V key to pan the camera up and the C key to pan the camera down. Finally, try moving the camera up and down by using the X key to move it up and the Z key to move it down. Well done. You can also use the mouse to move the camera around by either moving it to the edges of the screen or by holding down the middle mouse button whilst moving the mouse to drag the camera around. You can double-click on the ship card to center the camera on that ship. Try this now. Good, good. Now you will learn how to move your ship. With your ship selected, right-click at the base of the mark. Your ship will now move to the first marker.
Our war on British tyranny begins tonight. In Boston, brave men fight for the right to govern themselves. Tonight, we fight for freedom. As I bear witness to the sacrifice of this generation, I take great comfort in the memory of our forefathers, those pioneering men who traveled to these shores seeking a new life. Like the intrepid Captain John Smith and his fellow settlers, we too seek a new world, not only for ourselves, but for future generations of Americans. As I look back on their endeavors, at the unknown dangers that awaited the pioneers over every rise and behind every tree, I am reminded that I play but a small part in a much greater story.
Ready yourselves, men! Stay behind cover, men!
Infantry!
They're charging again! Steady!
My order! Militia! Await my command!
Hold the line!
Following orders! Right away, sir! Fire! Yes, sir! Close to range! Fire!
Break off attack! Watch the trees, men!
Militia!
On the right!
General Staff! Open fire! Fire!
Break off attack!
Close to range!
Marking targets.
Open fire!
From the very beginning, there have been hardships, irreplaceable losses. Brothers, fathers, sons lost to war, famine, and disease. And yet our forefathers endured, refusing to give up on the one thing they all believed in so fervently: freedom. Those brave men built a future from an inhospitable land, taming it and making it their own. But the wild land was not the only threat. The natives were a constant menace, lurking at their borders, always ready for battle. It became obvious that until borders were clearly established, peace would continue to be elusive.
You must lead the early settlers to establish Jamestown as a safe and prosperous settlement in this dangerous new world. From time to time, the British government will issue various missions to perform. As you complete these missions, the wealth and security of Jamestown will improve, and your influence throughout the whole of the New World will expand. Having survived the immediate threat posed by the native tribes, your settlers have already gained valuable combat experience. This is Jamestown, the capital of the region of Virginia. The review panel at the bottom of the screen contains a recruitment tab and a construction tab. Use the recruitment tab to recruit units for your armies. You have entered a unit into the recruitment queue. A message box will inform you when this unit is ready to use. The number in the hourglass indicates how many turns remain before completion. This is your army. The highlighted area represents the extent to which this army can move this turn. Right-click within this area to move your army to that location.
Make ready! March!
Waiting for orders. March! Ready and waiting for orders.
Sorry, sir.
There is often a choice of building types to construct in a resource slot. You can only follow one of these building chains. Once you have constructed the base building, subsequent upgrade options will only be available from the same chain.
Ready! Forward!
New units have been recruited. Left-click to select Jamestown. Left-click on the Army tab to view your garrisoned units. Left-click on a unit. You can now move your units out of the garrison by right-clicking on the campaign map.
March! Forward!
A message box will inform you when this building has been constructed. The number in the hourglass indicates how many turns remain before completion. This tab shows all units available for recruitment in the selected town, city, port, army or fleet. Right-click on a unit's picture to see its description. Oh, you have successfully built a peasant farm and local fishery in the Jamestown region. Jamestown should now grow and prosper, so it's time to deal with the threat from local native tribes. Your next compulsory mission is to capture the village of Werowokomoko, deep into unknown territory to the northeast.
Awaiting further orders.
Impossible, sir.
Troops, forward! Forward for crown and country!
This panel gives information about how a building's effects work in the game, along with a detailed description of its function. Some buildings allow you to construct other, more advanced ones, so it's worth reading all the information here and checking the building browser.
Your Majesty? Forwards for crown and country! Onwards! Troops,
On the left!
forward! Sir!
You have selected a target outside the green highlighted area. This means your character cannot reach his target this turn. Provided...
Lord! Arms!
Winning a battle isn't just about greater numbers. The balance of units and the commander's ability are essential. Look at the strength ratio, whether...
During the deployment phase, you can secretly arrange your units inside the deployment zone before battle commences. The enemy general will deploy his men within the opposite area. When you're ready to fight, click on the cross swords icon in the center of the screen.
Following orders? Yes, sir. Infantry reporting. Following orders? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right away. Militia! Right away.
Pressing the space bar on your keyboard after orders have been issued displays the positions your units will move to as a shadow on the battlefield. Use this as a reference when deploying your forces.
Militia! Double time! Militia! Ah! Yes, sir. General Staff, sir. Ah! Right away. Militia! Ah!
Maintaining a unit's run button in the bottom right of the screen can be used to toggle the selected units between running or walking. Running is useful for going somewhere in a hurry, but doing it too much will tire the men out.
Infantry! Militia! Double time! Militia! Passing orders! Following orders! Colonial militia! Double time! Yes, sir! Militia! Following orders! Following orders! Come on! Militia! Militia! Yes, sir! Fire! Militia! Militia!
Flashing unit banner means the morale of their troops is wavering. Before long, they'll break from combat and rout from the field. Take this opportunity to charge their ranks with cavalry or infantry with bayonets fixed. The battle is over when all troops in an army are routed or killed.
Following orders! Close to range! Yes, sir! Infantry!
Battle statistics are displayed here, along with a breakdown of the condition of each surviving unit in your army or navy. The button on the right-hand side breaks the statistics down to a per-unit level. Following capture of a capital city, it is important to leave an adequate garrison behind to quell unrest until both the population level and any damaged buildings are fully restored. Oh, you have successfully captured the village of Werawakamoko and are well on the way to reducing the threat to Jamestown. The condition of victory for completing this episode is to capture the village of Shakamatsu. Your region capital is the central city for control of a region. Empire Total War, colonial plantations provide trade. The construction of a farm will increase the growth of the population in a region. As population grows, more towns will appear, enabling construction of a building infrastructure to further strengthen. Troops can be stationed inside a city to provide defense.
Ready and waiting for orders.
Camp.
More orders. Your Majesty.
Forwards for crown and country!
As population growth is slow here, it is recommended that you upgrade farms or bring lower-class taxes down. This tab shows all existing buildings in the selected town or city. Mouse over them to see what can yet be constructed. Right-click on a picture to see its description. Left-click on a building to add it to the queue, and again to remove it. Construction cost is displayed underneath. Construction time is shown in the top left-hand corner.
Yes, sir. Not possible, sir. We can't do that, sir.
Lord. Awaiting further orders. Forwards! March!
As population growth is slow here, it is recommended that you upgrade farms or bring lower-class taxes down. Increasing the food supply and net income of the layman will reduce the infant mortality rate, thereby increasing the population. Ports do not just facilitate overseas trade. Upgrading to a dockyard also allows naval vessels to be built. Note that ships can also be ordered directly from fleets if commanded by an admiral.
Sir!
As population growth is slow here, it is recommended that you upgrade farms or bring lower-class taxes down. Increasing the food supply and net income of the layman will reduce the infant mortality rate, thereby increasing the population.
You ask too much.
Forwards for crown and country!
A very large army or navy spread over 2 or more unit stacks may not be able to follow.
Ready and waiting for orders. More orders?
Troops, forward!
As population growth is slow here, it is recommended that you upgrade farms or bring lower-class taxes down. Increasing the food supply and net income of the layman will reduce the infant mortality rate, thereby increasing the population. As population growth is slow here, it is recommended that you upgrade farms or bring lower-class taxes down. Increasing the food supply and net income of the layman will reduce the infant mortality rate, thereby increasing the population.
The swine rot in the sty. They hide behind
When
women's
attacking a fort or city, a general...
Right away. Right away, Colonial militia! Forward orders! Moving out! Yes, sir! Come on! Right away! Moving out! Forward orders! Yes, sir! Stick it to her! Right away, sir! Form line for battle!
As time went by, hostilities between the natives and settlers began to fade, and more ships carrying the hopeful arrived daily. Over the next 100 years, the population swelled, and the fight for territory began. Both the British and the French set their sights on the valuable Ohio Valley. And when the French built a line of forts across the valley, I was sent to demand the instant withdrawal of their troops. They refused, and the British retaliated by sending an army under General Braddock to take the valley by force. I was unlucky enough to be an officer in that army. Braddock's limited knowledge of his surroundings and his refusal to listen to counsel led to his downfall. He marched us straight into a French ambush. Our men were massacred. The cries of the wounded still haunt my dreams. This terrible loss encouraged the British to take a closer look at the tactics and cunning employed by their native allies. Use of these warriors and their knowledge of the land would prove to be the key to claiming the Ohio Valley.
The French have established a series of forts in the Ohio Valley. These forts are well defended and will be difficult to take through military force alone. Perhaps the Iroquois tribe to the north will provide you with some much-needed assistance.
Lord?
Men, forward!